Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Misfortune Updated Complete Guide for patch 6.0a and onwards. So before we really jump into it, of course, as usual, don't forget to check out her basic guide. I'll put them in the cards above for her skills, the ring order tips and tricks, as well as some combos. But here let's jump straight into it, right? So I'm back on the Lethality build. I think Lethality build on MF is pretty insane. You guys will see in the gameplay later on. But despite going for Lethality, I like actually starting off with Gluttonous Greaves just to get that little bit of Omnivamp and of course the AD. Of course you could go for the Lethality boots as well, but I think that just in general the stat line of Gluttonous Greaves is better. Like Omnivamp is just really good, but of course for the early game spike, you can go for the lethality boots. Then you of course basically go into almost full lethality. You go into Dustblade, pretty much the strongest lethality item, in the sense that you get the most AD, the most armor pen, and you of course get the Night Stalker passive for the bonus damage as well. That it will proc on your Q, so your Q is gonna do insane amounts of damage. Then we have Collector. Now Collector is just a really good item on MF because not only does it give you both armor pen and crit, but the Death and Taxes passive, which generally is a quite useless passive, is actually really good on MF because on both her Make It Rain, her E, as well as her ultimate bullet type, there are many small instances of damage, right? And this basically means that any one of those small bullets could proc the Death and Taxes passive and then get you an extra kill, so it's actually a really good item on MF. And now being a build that you go lethality, I like Seralda's Grudge for the slow. Of course, this is your armor pen item. When you get the slow, of course, people get stuck in your ultimate and you will end up doing more damage with your ultimate. And then here we have Edge of Night just for the defensive stats. You of course get 250 max health and you also get a spell shield, which is just really useful. Now if you're into a team with heavy shielding, of course you're gonna have to go for Serpent's Fang. You can swap out Collector for Serpent's Fang, or you could even go for Serpent's Fang late and swap out Edge of Night for Serpent's Fang if you're into a heavy shielding team. And last item is kind of flexible, but you can go for a defensive item or you can go for IE, which is going to just give you a huge injection of AD at the very end and also increase your crit damage, which in this case you only have one other crit item, so it's a 50-50 chance of you critting on autos, but you will always crit on the bounce on your Q, so that's going to help you out a lot. So for the runes, you really have two options for your keystone. You can go for either First Strike, which of course recently got buffed, so you're gonna get a lot of extra gold and damage from First Strike from the mid game onwards. Now the main issue with First Strike is that it's not very strong in the early game, whereas with Press the Attack or Empowerment, this one, your early game is a lot better and it's just a very consistent rune compared to First Strike, so you really have a choice between the two. And then, of course, Brutal because you auto-attack a ton is an ADC. Giant Slayer because, of course, there's a lot of health builders in the game. Here you have Alacrity for more attack speed. You could also go for, of course, the Bloodline. And here we have Bone Plating, of course, for the defensive stats. Now, for the spells, you have Flash together with, all your general common options like your Cleanse, your Barrier, your Exhaust, etc. Ghost not really an option, for MF. Of course, for a more in-depth discussion, don't forget to take a look at, the video I made on that. I'll put it up in the cards, above. But with all that said, let's move on to the gameplay. Alrighty, so now taking a look at our gameplay itself. Of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And of course, be sure to address them or drop a like. So, ironically enough, Misfortune is actually pretty strong currently, not because she herself is really strong, but because, number one, engage supports are very strong because of Yordle Trap, and of course, MF loves to play with engage support because they can lock people down for her to ult, or even for her to just hit Q on. Just really nice, and also because Amumu is basically the best jungler in the game at the moment after he got those round of buffs, and of course, Amumu ulti with MF ulti is one of the deadliest combos in the game. So here you can see it's a super ideal game. We have an engaged support Nautilus, we have of course Amumu in the jungle, and yeah, it's just really nice. However, what we do have is a pretty good amount of CC on the enemy team with Nami's Bubble and Wave, Vayne Condemn, Morgana Root, and such. So I decided to actually go for Cleanse in this game. Here I'm getting a little bit run down by the enemy team. Nautilus not really paying attention. However, we are able to trade back a little bit, and Nautilus exhausts the Vayne. However, Xin Zhao comes in. I'm going to be forced to flash. Nautilus is able to root the Xin Zhao to stop him from chasing me and then get out himself. And here we're just trying to go back onto the enemy bot lane. They are, of course, really low. If Xin Zhao was not there, we probably kill one or both of them. But of course, that's not how the game works. The jungler is an integral, part of the game. So we are kind of stopped by the Xin Zhao from getting some early kills. So really good play on his part. Amumu, however, does score the first blood for our team, which is of course amazing. And here now, we're going to, of course, just reset to refill our health mainly, and also pick up our boots. Now hit it back out. Of course, MF does get back to lane really quickly because of the passive on her W, giving her the extra, extra movement speed. You're just clearing out the waves. Now, this Nautilus likes to roam, which is not inherently an issue because, engage supports roaming is actually fine. Of course, it only becomes an issue when you get 2v1, in the ADC lane, the Dragon lane, I mean. But yeah, so it's pretty alright so far. Of course, one of the issues is that, of course, we're playing MF into Vayne, and of course, Vayne is really good scaler, so it's gonna come a point like in the mid to late game that you're gonna get outscaled by Vayne, so you generally don't want the game to go too long, or unless the Vayne is like super duper far behind. Maybe it won't be too bad. Here I'm just trying to get off some damage. Vayne gets hooked, and we avoid the bubble. We do get disengaged on by getting condemned away, so we're not really able to follow up. Don't really think we could have killed Vayne there anyway, so it's fine. Here Amumu is in the area. I'm pinging that I have my ultimate. I'm thinking that we could actually dive if we really wanted to, because we of course have Nautilus and Amumu, both of which are tanky. Now Amumu, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. He's getting 1v2'd by the enemy bot lane and ends up losing half of his HP. And Nautilus now hex flashes in, trying to get something done as well, but nothing is really happening. Amumu is now backing. And yeah, we lost the cannon, but yeah, so here we get a bounce onto MF, just getting off some good poke. Full stack passive onto MF already. Now onto Nami as well. Xin Zhao comes in for another gank, pretty irritating. Nautilus hooks the wall to jump away, picking up some fruit. As Nautilus picks up the mushrooms. Now Morgana is on the way up. It's becoming a huge fight here. Yeah, it's becoming a huge fight. It's like a 4v4, I think, at the moment. I try to get off ulti. Xin Zhao survives, dodges the Q. Very nice dodge by him. I don't pick up the kill here. I'm trying to shove in the wave as fast as I can so that my team can dive. The enemy team is just trapped under the tower at the moment. Just need to stop them from dying, stop them from recalling, I mean. Now here, Vayne actually decides to turn on me, which is what I would have done as well, but unfortunately my team was able to back me up. Now Nami in trouble as well, gets rooted by Nautilus. Did waste her flash, unfortunately. Unfortunately for her, that is. And we're able to take her down as well. So overall, it's a pretty clean semi-dive, I guess you could say, by my team. Because the enemy team decided to do the best thing, which is to turn onto us before we could actually really dive them. Vayne tried to get a 1v1 against me, but she wasn't really able to do so because my team was able to back me up. If she did, she might have actually been able to do something. Of course, I am pretty far ahead of her, so maybe not, but I definitely think the Vayne made the right play there by turning onto me, because she was probably just going to get dived and she would be in trouble under the tower anyway, so no real point just staying there and waiting to die. So here back to lane, clearing minions. I can see my Nautilus is getting 1v3, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to survive long enough for me to make my way there. So not too much I can really do to help him. Really nice bounce onto the Vayne. Now I'm at a point that I'm so far ahead that I can easily 1v1 the Vayne just because of, like, I'm 1.5k gold ahead of her. So if she tries to 1v1 me, I'm definitely gonna win. The 1v1, especially now that I'm back and I've picked up my Duskblade. So if she 1v1s me, she pretty much has no chance. I even have cleanse and flash up, so if she condemns me into a wall, I can easily cleanse it and continue to fight her. So I'm really not scared of her whatsoever. In fact, she should be scared of me. So here she's not actually backing yet. She's trying to shove in the wave here. So here, I know she might get a greedy back, so I'm trying to see if I can stop her. There it is. So here I stop her from backing. You can see I'm basically just one-shotting her at this point. It's not even close. We're able to just easily just dispatch her. and she goes back to base the fast way, that being death instead of recall. But here this leaves us with a little bit of alone time with the tower, so I'm trying to get some plates. But Xin Zhao comes over. I have to flash over because he already flashed, so he can't follow. He is walking really fast though, so I have to put down the E to slow him down, pop the W for the movement speed, and I'm able to get out scot-free. So we did get a plate there, not too bad. Of course, we also got a kill, so huge lead for us at the moment. We're at 6k gold now. Roughly 2k gold up on almost everyone, majority of people in the game. So we're in a really good spot. Of course, MF being ahead is a position you want to find yourself in. Her being a strong early game champion, but not too strong in the late game. So here, I'm of course 1v2 because obviously my Nautilus is in mid lane trying to make some plays. However, I'm really far ahead, so I also have level 2 ulti now, so I'm not too scared. If I get, if I get dove, I can ulti the wave, and that's always that's why it's a little bit hard to dive MF sometimes. Now here, Vayne and Nami are trying to recall again. I do the same thing, which is toss my E into the bush, and I stop their recall. This time, Victor and Nautilus are here to make a play. Unfortunately, though, Victor goes super duper aggressive, and Nautilus follows, and here I'm trying to salvage the situation, but what really just ends up happening is I end up donating a shutdown to the enemy Morgana. Of course, sometimes when you see some over aggressive plays or some plays that are just not good, of course you shouldn't really be following it, so kind of a mistake there on my part. Should not have followed a play that I knew wasn't really a good idea, especially after Xin Zhao appeared. That that wouldn't really have been very ideal. So here in the meanwhile, we get to watch, a 1v1 turn into a 2v1 in the Baron lane. Eventually, my team is able to get rid of the Rumble, and yeah, it looks like they're gonna get rid of the Xin Zhao as well. There we go, kills onto both of them. Mordekaiser survives, really nice. And here one auto is gonna kill the tower. Boom, there we go. Solo tower goal for myself as well, since Nautilus is roaming, so really nice gold injection. Gives me enough for the collectors. I'm gonna back pick that one up. 2 item power spike now. Fight is happening in the bot lane. I'm gonna make my way there. Honestly, the gate does help you get there real quickly, and enemy team normally is not gonna kind of run away. Now here, unfortunately, I was planning to one-shot the Vayne here, but she just cleansed away the CC from Nautilus, so I was not really able to do that, and basically nothing ends up happening here. Everyone just kind of walks around, and yeah, nothing kind of just ends up happening here. So now next dragon is spawning, so we're making our way in the general vicinity. Of course, here Nautilus may be trying to catch out Xin Zhao, who's the enemy jungler, but I'm just trying to get mid lane parity and clear the wave here.
Enemy killing spree.
Xin Zhao trapping here. I'm sorry, not Nautilus trapping here for Xin Zhao. I'm on standby. Xin Zhao does get caught. I'm hesitant to actually ult him here because I thought that I was thinking that he's gonna ult, which he did here, and now I'm in trouble, so I'm flashing over, trying to, I don't know, I'm just trying to escape or try to kill him before I die, but my team is just not interested. Basically, Amumu does get the dragon though, I guess, but I thought we could maybe go for the fight first. Amumu ends up getting run down, and now only the two of them here are left alive. The Mordekaiser is just coming out of the base. Vayne's running them down, but not able to take out Victor, of course. Now Mordekaiser finds himself in the back line. Does kill Xin Zhao though, but he's gonna find himself in a 1v3 very soon. He of course just gets run down by the Vayne. And yeah, things do not really go very well. So here I'm headed down to the bottom lane just to pick up the minions for the most part. However, I start to suspect they're coming for me, so I actually run back, and just in time as well, as both Nami and Vayne were actually on the way to 1v3 gank me. So thankfully I was able to kind of suss that out. Just honestly, I didn't really have vision, and it was just kind of a suspicion. So I just walked away, and turns out that was an absolutely correct decision. And now Baron is coming up in half a minute's time, so we're all just kind of lingering around this area as well. There is a ward here, so that's why I'm kind of walking through this bush. Now, they know Victor is coming, of course, because he can be seen in the ward. I think we are both seen on the ward right now. So they know we're here. On the top lane, there's a Mumu and Vayne just in the top lane. Of course, having a jungler on the opposite side of the map is not a good idea, because enemy team could, of course, start Baron. Now, here is where Mordekaiser kind of screws up here. So here we have a 4v1 on the Rumble, but Mordekaiser ults the Rumble and essentially saves the Rumble's life. Because Rumble would die 4v1, but now because he's 1v1 against Mordekaiser, he actually escapes. Now Xin Zhao, though, is kind of committing suicide here. He just runs in at all of us and he dies. And yeah, so this is one of those times where it's sort of like Mordekaiser is a really strong, powerful tool, but you gotta know how to use it. And this is one of those times that the Mordekaiser is actually more helpful to the enemy than to us, right? Because he basically just saved the Rumble's life when Rumble should have just died, 100% of the time there. So of course that's just unfortunate. Speaking of Rumble, he's getting caught out by Amumu this time. We're on our way. He's getting stunned, he's getting CC'd, but he's able to flash over the wall and he escapes again. So yeah, just not great overall. Now here I'm getting a little bit worried because you can see, although I'm really far ahead, I'm at like 10k gold, same as like Mumu, and we're still the most fed people in the game. But the game is kind of going on, and like nothing is really, like no real good fights are happening, and for me, and like of course MF does fall off. So, and we also have this Xin Zhao problem where he's just running us down all the time. We have to flash away, and yeah. So here, this is a bad fight. So we're just trying to disengaging. Amumu's 1 HP. I lost my flash already, and we don't really want this fight. However, Rumble is really overextended. He doesn't have flash from the encounter just now already. He is now stuck in the Victor ulti. I was trying to ult him, but didn't really even need to. And yeah, all in all, we actually managed to kill both Xin Zhao and as well as Rumble in trade for Nautilus, which is overall a good trade. 2 for 1 is pretty good. Nautilus does have, of course, that YOLO trap as well, which of course gives us extra gold, so it makes the trade even better. And here the final dragon's coming up. Of course, Baron is already up. The final dragon really is kind of useless, of course, because like both teams already have one, so it doesn't really matter all that much. So here, just collecting, the minions, destroying the tower even. Now here is where Xin Zhao kind of screws up. He jumps right onto 2 damage dealers, and nearly kills Victor, but runs straight into me and just dies. Now Nami is in trouble. She's getting run down. And I run straight into Nami bubble. I choose not to cleanse it because I'm pretty sure she's caught up by my team anyway. I don't think I need to waste the cooldown. She ends up dying, and it's a 600 gold shutdown for me. Nami ends up being really fed somehow. She's been doing well. And now me and Amumu are gonna get this dragon. Vayne's just getting CC'd there by Nautilus, and I think I probably should actually help Nautilus instead. Because now Vayne is now focusing me, and she's doing a ton of damage. And this is kind of what I was talking about, where you are gonna get outskilled by the Vayne eventually. And this is kind of where it's happening. Vayne is now at 3 full items already. I'm at 3 full items myself, about to complete the 4th one, but a 3 item MF cannot compete with a 3 item Vayne, right? And Vayne is like only about 1k gold behind me, which, as the game goes on, gold becomes like less and less, like the gold difference of like 1k gold becomes less and less meaningful, right? Because in the early game, a 1k gold lead is huge, which is what I had. I had 2k gold lead on Vayne in the early game, but a 1k gold lead at like 15 minutes is really not that much, right? And Vayne is already doing really well here, so this is kind of what I was worried about, and it is kind of happening as we like just witnessed right there. However, our team does have decent scaling. We do have like a Victor who scales incredibly well. So, you know, it's not like all hope is lost, but it can see that there's no way I can like 1v1 the Vayne or anything like that. Now Xin Zhao, I'm not sure what he's doing again. He basically again is you know, going onto the 2 damage dealers, and we basically just kill him again. Xin Zhao did play well in the early game, but now he's kind of just solo losing the game for his team. We catch out Nami as well, and she pays for his sins as well. And out of nowhere, we get 3 picks on the enemy team, and it's Baron time. Only Vayne and Morgana are left alive. They are kind of the 2 carries, quote unquote, of the enemy team, and they also have the most gold on the enemy team. So we do have to kind of be cautious here. But again, it's a 2v5, and everyone is kind of coming here, so we should be absolutely fine. I mean, if we can't win a 2v5, you know, that's gonna be a major issue. Right? We're not gonna win the game if we can't win a 2v5. So, or 5v2, I should say. So anyways, we get a Baron uncontested. Now we are going to back. I'm not sure why Nautilus is trying to chase them down when his whole team is just trying to recall. But he is. And now I get the Edge of Night, extra layer of safety for myself, both in terms of the health and tankiness, as well as the extra spell shield, which is, I think, really important in this match, especially to not get caught by Nami bobbles, Morgana roots, you know, the works. Here, Victor getting CC'd on top of Rumble's ulti, takes a ton of damage, but is able to flash out. And here Elder is coming up in 30 seconds, so that's really going to be probably the game-ending fight, especially since we have Baron. If we get Elder, it's probably game over for the enemy team, but if we lose Elder, and we all die to the enemy team, it's going to be a longer game, because we have Baron, and the enemy team is going to have a hard time pushing, even if they ace us because of the Baron minions, you know, and yeah. So here, of course, we are all making our way there. We do have a Mordekaiser running down Nami. Nami goes down. Amumu is slowly making his way over. Rumble's on the wrong side of the map, but Amumu is on half HP, which is pretty dangerous. Now here Xin Zhao gets caught out together with Morgana. I'm able to ult down and kill Morgana, which is probably my only good ult of the game. Pretty much one-shotting the Morgana. Now Xin Zhao trying to make his way in, but Nautilus just zoning him away together with Victor. Xin Zhao, of course, ends up not being able to get into the pit. We flash over and try to run him down. That's exactly what we do. He pretty much just gives up right there. We do have waves in both mid as well as top, so we can use Baron and Elder to just push in the game and probably end the game right here, right now. Yeah, we one-shot the Rumble. Vayne is now running for the hills. Amumu, she hits the bandage toss and is able to finish her off. Here we finish off the mid tower, and we're just going to go focus the base. That should be the game. And I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.
Victory!